I was permitted to attend the convention only after I had gone through difficult tests in Tara Sadhana. I learnt in this convention what I had not in 20 years. It was perhaps a reward for some good deeds I might have done in my present and past lives. If Tantra and Mantra still exist in this country today, it is only because of some of the great sadhakas. I started my life as a student of law and I had passed the examination with high grades. But because of a citation of a wrong ruling on my part in a criminal case, an innocent man was sentenced to death. It was my mistake. This made me so miserable that I resigned from my post and gave up my career forever. Then I took up journalism, and my sharp insight and fearless writings soon made me popular. I was the president of the Journalists Association for a number of years. Since those were the days of the British rule, I was looked upon with disfavor by the authorities from the very beginning. I was virtually under a state of siege. I renounced the world before I could be besieged completely. I was not married and therefore had no family encumbrances. I decided to devote the rest of my life to sadhana and the discovery of unknown mysteries. I have always been argumentative. I do not get impressed easily by anyone. When I talk to someone, my journalistic tendencies overtake me and my probing questions dissect him and expose him completely. If there is anything fraudulent in him, it comes out, and this way I have not come across a single complete personality. Therefore, I have not been able to bow my head at anyone's feet. Unless I am totally impressed, I cannot utter the word Guru. In a way, I have been without a Guru for 20 years, although I did learn some tantric practices during this period and have also been impressed by the work done by some people. I met some reputed sadhakas, learned Tara sadhana from Bhut Baba, and I did form a favorable impression of him, but every time the journalist in me came in the way. As a result, I was impressed only by some aspects of his personality. Until now, I have not met anyone who has mastered great tantric practices and has impressed me enough to be my guru. I have met tantrics who are experts either in the leftist methods or the rightist methods of Tantra. If they have mastered one method, they are completely ignorant about the other. I met some Hatha Yogis too, but they possessed only ordinary skills. Ordinary tantrics could perhaps be impressed by them, but not me. I met some mantra shastris who could perform miraculous deeds through mantras, but they had no other knowledge. It had been rather unfortunate for me that in all my wanderings I had not come across even one complete sadhaka, an all-rounder with knowledge of both leftist and rightist methods, one who was not only an acknowledged authority in this area but highly knowledgeable in mantras too. Under the circumstances, when I heard of the convention and that very distinguished sadhakas were expected to participate in it, I had a flicker of hope that I might be able to find the kind of person I had been looking for. My experience of the last 20 years had made me believe that anyone so knowledgeable could not help getting corrupted or stubborn. Often the sadhakas do not know what they are talking about. They are either too drunk to be conscious of the world or they are too arrogant to talk to others. Moreover, such people are often hot-tempered or capricious. What they might do or say can never be imagined. Talking normally, they suddenly burst into a volley of abuses, and some even become violent. I consider humility and practicality essential attributes of knowledge. Without humility, it is not possible for the personality to develop fully. This is the basis of sadhana which makes a person above the ordinary. I once read a story about a gathering of all great ascetics to decide who was the greatest of the gods. The onus of finding who was the greatest among Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara fell on Bhrigu, the greatest of all sages. Bhrigu first went to Brahmalok, the abode of Brahma. Brahma was busy creating the world. Bhrigu watched him for a couple of minutes, but when Brahma paid his obeisance to him, he got no response. Instead, Bhrigu kicked at and destroyed whatever had been created. The damage caused was great. Brahma's labor of months was wasted. Brahma was furious, and he was about to beat up the sage. Bhrigu saw his face flushed with rage, and sensing trouble, he slipped away from there. From Brahmalok, Bhrigu made straight for Kailash mountains, the abode of Mahadeva. There Mahadeva and his consort Parvati were both deeply engrossed in conversation. Bhrigu, without a moment's thought, climbed on Parvati's shoulder. When she stood up startled, the sage tried again to perch on her shoulder. When the fiery-tempered lord saw the outrageous conduct of the sage, he was beside himself with rage. Picking up his trishul with amazing alacrity, he lunged towards the sage. Bhrigu's death seemed certain, but he managed to escape. Mahadeva chased him for a while, but Bhrigu ran away with lightning speed. From there, Bhrigu went straight to Ksheerasagara, the ocean of milk. Vishnu was reclining on Sheshanaga, the cobra with 1,000 hoods, and Lakshmi sat at his feet, pressing his legs. Bhrigu kicked Vishnu on his chest. Vishnu sat up at once and started massaging the sage's feet. He said, "Your Holiness, your feet are so tender and my chest so hard. You must have hurt your feet kicking me. I am sorry and I apologize to you." And tears welled up in his eyes. Vishnu's humility made the sage acknowledge his defeat. He said, "My lord, I was only testing you. There is no doubt that you are the greatest of the gods. A merely learned or knowledgeable person cannot be the greatest. Great is one who combines learning and knowledge with humility."